Throners, it's Azora Hype here, and Game of Thrones is back with a bang, and I'm here to deliver epic episode reviews for all of you all season long. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so, as I will be dropping hype videos every day to quell your Game of Thrones obsession. So all aboard the hype train and into the breakdown. Game of Thrones Season 7 Episode 1 Dragonstone starts with another cold open, and we return to the twins, to Walder Frey holding another feast. But we know that's not Walder Frey, and it's Arya Stark. This was the perfect way to start the season, with a character nobody liked, yet behind his face there was a character we had a connection with. With subtle cues, we got to realize that the great actor was portraying not him, but Walder Frey being portrayed by someone else. This brings me to the theme of the episode. Every episode usually has a theme that weaves throughout each of the characters' perspectives, and this episode, I felt it was one which was catching us up where all the characters we care about currently are in the show. For this specific scene at the Twins, we know the connection goes deep because of the tragedy and the treachery that took place at the Red Wedding and completely transformed Arya's pathway through life. And what a beautiful scene it was, with Arya mimicking Walder Frey's personality to his truest form, yet mocking him at the same time. When she was describing what happened at the Red Wedding, and when she says, "You should have ripped them out all root and stem, leave one wolf alive and the sheep are never safe," may have been one of the most iconic lines of the series. And this is only episode 1, people! Oh my god! The scene also ended perfectly when Arya reveals her face to the servant girl and says, when they ask what happened here, tell them that the North remembers, that the winter came for the Freys, setting a darker yet exciting tone for the rest of the episode and the series. This to me shows that Arya is one of the most badass characters in the series. After the opening credits, which had a slight change in the banners at the Twins, which was awesome, we have the scene beyond the wall where a storm is coming, and with the Night King, the White Walkers, and his army, you have to zoom in, and we see not one, but two, but three freaking giants. I thought that in the teaser that the brow looked like the brow of a giant originally and not the Night King, so this is confirmation that we got white giants. But anyways, is this Macumber the Blue-Eyed Giant? They are certainly throwing another nod to this, and perhaps we should dive more deeply into if we are really in the eye of a blue-eyed giant. These white giants are big not only because the Night King has regular human whites, but he has giant whites, and I'm assuming without the help of dragons they will be very hard to kill. But who knows what will be resurrected to fight in future episodes. Next we see a short scene with Bran and Meera when they show up at the northern gate at the wall. Bran Stark is presented by Meera Reed when Ed asks who they are, and Bran lets them know what is headed towards the wall. And Bran tells Ed he knows what happened at Hardhome and the Fist of the First Men, so Dolorous Ed is forced to believe them. I'm really looking forward to the interaction between Bran and Ed in the next episode. I'm wondering if he will personally escort Bran to Winterfell, or he will have a chat with Bran so Ed can gather more information to better defend the wall. It was also a great moment to see where Tormund says that the wildlings will now become the Night's Watch. I can't wait to see how they will be received by the members of Castle Black. It is sort of strange, but they understand the enemy that they are facing, and it is clear from watching that Tormund is clearly behind Jon Snow's command. They are more worried about saving everyone than about anything else. So hopefully all the other houses in the north and the Riverlands will catch on as well. We stay in the north and we enter the Great Hall of Winterfell, where Jon tells everyone that dragonglass is more valuable than gold, and he advocates for the mass cultivation of dragonglass and for women fighting. There's a great push and pull from the Northern Lords in the scene, and I absolutely loved Lyanna Mormont putting Lord Glover in his place when he disputes that his granddaughter will have a spear in her hand. She was such a great character last season, and she continues to be the voice of power and reason this season as well. And if it happens, I really hope to see the meeting between her and Ser Jorah, as I can only imagine how she would put him in his place. When we get to see Lord Glover nod in dissent with Lady Mormont, we realize that there is really no excuse for not getting this task done and training everyone in the north to fight. Even Lord Glover realizes the desperateness of this situation, and that no one is going to get a pass from the Night King. Although they have issues of honor, the Lady of Bear Isle puts these to rest with her personal convictions to fight and train others around her to do so as well. Also, I'm sincerely hoping that Davos, who seemed to be amused by all of Lyanna's sass, will form a relationship with her. That would be a great spin-off show, almost as good as Arya and the Hound. Both Davos and Lyanna have great wisdom, and together, I believe they would be a force to be reckoned with. We also hear Jon talk about the importance of the Night's Watch, and we figure out very quickly how the loyal king of the Free Folk, Tormund, is to Jon. I love how he steps up and volunteers to go to Eastwatch by the Sea, but at the same time, I'm not liking their chances of actually defending the towers along the wall when the White Walkers finally arrive. One thing I wonder is if Eastwatch could be another Hardhome, and if we might see Tormund and the Hound defending it together. One of the greatest moments in this episode is the back and forth between Sansa and Jon after Jon has made his proclamation. Sansa has her own ideas, but when push comes to shove, not only does she agree with Jon, but she tells him that he has a skill for ruling. He had already accepted the fealty of the renegade houses in the north, and although Sansa was not the happiest with that, she realized that Jon understood the game he was playing, and he is skilled at it. For all the fears we have about Littlefinger, I think it was made clear that the Starks are a family and a team. They will never give up on one another for any reason at all. I believe that this was one of Sophie Turner's strongest scenes, and I think she is really coming into her own with the growth of Sansa's character. She definitely has a point though, that Jon does need to be smarter and not fall into the same traps that Ned and Robb did. Next, we get the Cersei and Jaime discussion that mirrors the characters that Sansa and Jon represent. Cersei is considering vengeance in human politics, and Jaime is thinking about the bigger practicalities of surviving through winter and feeding soldiers. Cersei asks for Jaime's advice when Season 7 begins, but she already knows that Tyrion is the hand of the Queen for Daenerys. And big mistake incoming, she reveals to Jaime that she's chosen the Ironborn not only as their allies, but is considering marriage to Euron Greyjoy. Cersei's ignorance is clear on display when she talks about dynasties, but when she says that Tommen betrayed them, which couldn't be more wrong, we and Jaime realize that Cersei failed Tommen in the biggest way. We then see the massive fleet that Euron Greyjoy has put together come into King's Landing. And of course, Jaime isn't impressed and tries to tell Cersei that they are nothing but thieves who steal and rape and pillage, but he fails to reach Cersei, who tells him she already offered her hand in marriage. Euron had some really good lines, which makes me optimistic for his role in the show, and I have to say that he was really great. Pilu rocked his role with swagger and charisma, and I really enjoyed the back and forth between him and Jaime. But he is very much like Cersei. They are mad, and his proposal falls flat when Cersei says she doesn't trust him because of the past. However, he promises to return with a priceless gift to woo her, and I actually think that this gift will be Illyria's sand and the Sand Snakes, or at least one of them. The official synopsis for the third episode of Season 7 mentions Cersei and a gift, so we can assume he'll return then. But the lines that stood out to me from Euron were that he has two good hands and that Cersei should try killing her brother when she scolds him. So expect a big sea battle in episode 2 and Euron to capture Illyria's sand and the Sand Snakes. We then jump to the Citadel where Sam has basically the worst internship ever, cleaning the shit from bedpans, and this was brilliantly shot, moving back and forth. But moving on to the meat of Sam's scenes, we are connected to the restricted part of the Citadel that only maesters can access. I took a good look at that book and it looks like it was open to a page about the seasons. We then see a brilliant scene where Sam and Archmaester Marwan are in the morgue dissecting a body, and Sam asks about gaining access to the restricted area to learn about the White Walkers and the Long Night. Jim Broadbent absolutely nailed this scene, and I feel like he's an absolutely fantastic choice for Archmaester. It took me a few moments to even realize that it was the same actor who played Professor Slughorn in Harry Potter that was talking to Sam. But Marwan has some choice words for Sam about the life of maesters at the Citadel, and it was really obvious that they do lead a different lifestyle. I thought the most interesting part of that conversation was when he cites previous examples of people thinking that the world would end and how the wall is still standing. I definitely think this is foreshadowing that the end of the world, for all intents and purposes, from our perspective, is coming to Westeros. Although Marwan left in a huff, I definitely felt like he had respect for Sam and that a special moment where he might share something with him might be in the future. Not long after, Sam encounters a seriously grayscaled up person who we could only assume is Jorah, not only through his questions about Daenerys, but also where there is grayscale affecting him. I can't wait for Sam to find out who he is and for them to have a conversation about Jorah's father, J.R. Mormont. Later on, of course, we see Sam steal the key from the maesters and sneak into the restricted section to gain new and intriguing information for Jon, which he later finds out while reading about Dragonstone and how it was built on a massive mountain of dragon glass. Absolutely badass. So Sam is going to send a raven to Jon, and Jon will receive a letter from Daenerys as well. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be both, and I think that Davos will advise him to kill 2 birds with 1 stone to try to gain the support of the Dragon Queen and to get a nice supply of dragon glass, which would save the North from using all of their resources and men and women to mine. Davos will suggest meeting on Dragonstone, and we will see that Jon has an ulterior motive for that meeting. At one point in the episode, we see Arya encounter a surprisingly nice amount of Lannister soldiers, including Ed Sheeran, which was rumored to be happening in this season. This is a very interesting scene for a few different reasons, because of how one soldier talks about how he wanted nothing more than to leave home at one point, but now he wants nothing more than to return home. And we also see, even though that Arya and these men are on opposite sides of the battle, that they are still connected by the commonalities through war. This was another great theme that they explored in the episode about how war changes and affects people. And although Arya still is focused on revenge, this is one of the first moments where she realizes that her actions affect people outside of her direct course of action. Although she is focused on revenge when she openly tells them that she intends to kill the queen, they all laugh it off, which is a super funny moment. And at the same time, this is one of the first moments when we see what her bigger game plan is. So we could see Arya try to go to King's Landing, but I actually think she will connect with the Brotherhood without banners and Sandor to head north to Winterfell. Speaking of Sandor Clegane, his scenes were the best scenes of the episode, and yes, I am biased because he is my favorite character, but wow, I was absolutely blown away by his scenes. Sandor Clegane does some soul searching as he returns to the scene of the crime where he left the farmer and his daughter to die in season 3. I mean, Arya even told him what's up about that. Arya called him the worst shit in the 7 kingdoms regarding what he did. There's of course the comedic element that's always cut the dark somber moments in the show. And my favorite moment was when Sandor was calling Thoros Amir a baldy and mocking his top knot man bun. That was absolutely hilarious. One amazing thing that we quickly realize in this first episode is the importance of Sandor. He is invited to view the flames, and he does. Not only do we see the reflection and the insight into Sandor's emotions and the regrets he is truly exploring, but we feel his remorse truly. We see this most importantly when Thoros Amir has him look into the flames, and Sandor sees the White Walkers marching past a castle where the wall meets the sea. We will have to see what happens, as we know the Brotherhood without banners are headed north, and Tormund Giantsbane and his free folk have moved to those castles to offer their services to defend the world of the living. Jon also mentioned the mountain, which may foreshadow the Clegane Bowl, but it looks as if the Lord of Light has chosen Sandor Clegane as the victor. So get hype, everyone. I will be doing a theory video on this on Wednesday. The mountain is kept alive by odd science, but the Hound lives at the service of the Lord of Light, so we will have to see what is more powerful. One thing I did particularly love about all of this nod to Sandor being the Gravedigger is in the books many people have theorized he is at the Quiet Isle, and I believe this is a nod to that plot line, which I absolutely love, so bravo for that nod in the show. And then we have the final scene of the episode where we have Daenerys finally landing on Dragonstone, and the shot of the dragons flying towards the castle was absolutely amazing, and it showcased their huge size. There isn't a whole lot to say about this scene other than Daenerys has finally arrived to Westeros and she is about to make an absolutely enormous game-changing impact on how the game is played. Her finally seeing that her destiny is right in front of her is huge, and I suspect that the next episode will be more Daenerys-centric as opposed to the focus of the episode, which was focused more on the North and the Citadel. Wow, what an absolutely amazing episode. I'm actually blown away on how good this was for an episode 1. And if this is any indication for how the season may go, then I'm extremely excited and optimistic. But what do you think? What was your favorite moment of the episode and why? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and let's get hyped and keep this amazing conversation going. Let's discuss all of your awesome theories and things we think will happen in the next episode. If you enjoyed this Game of Thrones Season 7 Episode 1 breakdown, make sure you hit that like button as the support really helps out the channel. And I'm going to set a goal of 500 likes for this video. And make sure that you subscribe as I will be dropping hype videos every day like this one. That's right, every day during Game of Thrones Season 7. Also, if you want to check out something pretty cool, I was featured in an article on Watchers on the Wall written by Axe Chucker, who will be coming on the channel to review and break down the episode Stormborn, episode 2 of Game of Thrones season 7. So that's pretty awesome, and basically it talks about all the stuff that me and George did at Con of Thrones, and basically we're doing a t-shirt giveaway, so if you go check it out and you comment in the comment section, you get entered into the giveaway. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video. 7 blessings.
Fuck the king.
How much for your little clam?